BPod Studios.
Now it's time for Zolak and Bertrand. Brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks on the Sports Hub.
We got Trey Wingo set to join us coming up in about 10 minutes. We got a few minutes here that we'd like to grab your calls. Josh is in Nashua. This hour of Radio Row coverage, by the way, brought to you by your New England Honda dealers. What's up, Josh?
Hey, Beatles. Oh, Michael Holly. It's crazy that Holly had to go out to eat alone last night. That's more on your peers than you, Holly. But, yeah, on the Patriots, man, like,
maybe I'm just
Eliot
not
Wolf,
good company.
Friggin' Van Pelt, like, all these boys, like, I don't know, I would have went with the enemy or something, and I don't know, it's just like, it's crazy out there in Foxborough, but I hope you guys are having a great time in Vegas, you know, I don't know if you went to the U2 concert, I'm pretty sure you did, but God bless you guys, have a good day.
All right, Josh, appreciate it.
What's he doing in Nashville?
Nashua.
Oh, I thought you said Nashville.
No.
Would you feel better about Josh McDaniels?
Yes.
This
Absolutely,
guy would.
100%.
Would you?
No.
So, Alex Van Pelt, Josh McDaniels?
No. Just based on their ability to build an offense, call an offense, call plays, Josh McDaniels.
Okay.
Right? Just in a vacuum. Josh McDaniels is a better offensive coordinator than anything they have on this staff.
Right.
And so ultimately, if that's all it was about, then I would hire him. But it's not. Because you've got to have your head coach in his first year as a rookie head coach be empowered and have a say and have direction and establish himself as the voice and the culture and building a program. And I think Josh McDaniels in that room and in that locker room is a big roadblock to Gerard Mayo becoming the guy in charge of the program.
You don't think Josh has been humbled by,
Nope.
by two failed head coaching stints? And he wouldn't have
been hired to be a head coach. He'd be hired to be an offensive coordinator,
right.
a job that
That's
he was
what I'm
good
saying.
at, and a job that Bill Belichick let him do and stayed out of his way. And so if Bill Belichick was willing to do that for Josh McDaniels, do you think Josh McDaniels would come in and be accepting of Gerard Mayo giving Josh McDaniels his thoughts on how things should be going?
Yes.
No, I don't buy it.
Yes.
That's why I would be against it.
That's why I say the two failed stints takes away his leverage. You got no leverage in this locker room.
As an OC, he does.
Okay, but your voice your voice is not the biggest one in the locker room. You're an OC. Don't walk around with the Gerard Mayo hockey stick, baseball bat. You can't walk around like that because you're an OC.
But see, I understand his point too. With Gerard's got to feel safe that like this is his football team. But
no, he's got to make it his team.
Gerard's got an outstanding relationship with the owner, obviously, and the Kraft family, as does Josh. So Gerard has seen that for many years when Josh was here and then he came back. And Gerard was playing on a team when Josh was coaching. So I don't, the head coach has got to be above the coordinator. And you just wonder if things were rocky, would there'd be whispers that Josh has got the ear of everybody else. And you don't want that divide.
I believe the best head coaches have input on everything. They do.
Should.
And need to establish that input on everything. And I think that would have been very hard with Josh McDaniels. Because, quite frankly, Josh McDaniels wouldn't be wrong to say, Gerard, all due respect, but what the hell do you know about this? He's not wrong, but it's also not functional to be doing that.
There's going to be a lot of those moments, but it's how does Mayo react out of it, though? But go ahead.
You would think just to protect Gerard's authority,
yes,
you would take a lesser OC.
That's what it feels.
I'd be willing to deal with that because I think it's just too important.
No, my ideal situation was you hire someone who's young and an up-and-comer who's got some creativity and some new thoughts, and you pay him what OCs are getting, and no one's going to debate whether or not that guy is under Gerard Mayo. He's a first-time OC. He's a younger guy. Like, that's the way it should have gone. You should have grabbed someone who was younger and is ascending within the league. Zach Robinson. Pay the man.
Yeah.
Pay him.
Or somebody like Zach Robinson.
Anybody.
Because once Raheem Morris got that job, that was a promise. That was a package deal. Once Raheem Morris went to Atlanta, hey, I'm bringing my boy Zach Robinson.
Hire Liam Cohen, who went to Tampa Bay.
One of those guys.
Okay?
Right.
Hire someone like that. And no one would ever think that, and that individual would not come in thinking, I know more than the head coach. I'm not going to listen to my boss. Those guys wouldn't have done that. They would have been highly motivated to have it all work and work with the guy who was their head coach and, be a part of building this thing because it determines where they're going next.
Impress this guy.
Here's the other thing about Josh McDaniels. Do you think he legitimately believes he's going to get a third shot as a head coach?
I hope not.
But if he does, or if he doesn't, excuse me, and he's just sort of entrenched as the OC, he's still going to want to have as much power as possible. Yeah. Because that's what he would want, and he's the only way he's ever going to get any powers in that role as OC, not as a head coach.
But see, I don't mind the OC having some power, but as long as it's not disruptive, as long as you're not trying to stage some coup. I'm going to take over the.
No, I don't think it would be that.
I'm going to take over the operation.
Even the hiring process of McAdoo is an indicator that we're going with Van Pelt as off OC, but he needs help. So it is. I think lesser than Josh, where Josh will control everything. You're bringing in McAdoo to sort of babysit him a little bit. And we'll see how that works.
Trey Wingo is going to join us here at Radio Row. Coming up next, our coverage is presented by Safety Insurance.
Mike Bertrand, Scott Zolak, live from Radio Row at the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas. Presented by Safety Insurance on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Welcome back to Zolak and Bertrand, Radio Row in Las Vegas. This hour of coverage brought to you by your New England Honda dealers. And now in our guest chair, Trey Wingo joins us. Trey, how are you?
Good, man. Good to see you guys.
Doing?
Good to see everybody.
Good seeing you, man.
Good to see you, man.
All right. Good
Pleasure.
to see you, Trey.
Let's talk about Mac Jones for a minute, because I feel like Trey Wingo had a lot of takes about Mac Jones over the years. And you had that great story about Mac Jones talking trash to Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Going back a few years when he was being drafted, right?
Yeah.
What do you think happened to the guy who once upon a time was talking trash to Mac Saban to where he is now? Because his confidence is not there.
No.
It's non-existent.
Well,
So in your mind, where's it all gone wrong for that guy?
What's the line Russell Brand had from Forgetting Sarah Marshall? Don't let him beat you down. Don't let him grind you down.
He's past that.
I mean, I think that's it, man. He needs a fresh start. He needs a reboot, and hopefully with Gerard and everybody that they bring in, it can happen, because he was the guy that in his rookie year took you guys to the playoffs, and obviously got smoked in that wild card game against Buffalo. What was it, 47-17?
He battled that. He was ready to go. The rest of the team wasn't ready. Mac didn't play that poorly in that game.
I agree, and I just think if we're being honest about it, as a team construct, they brought back Matt Patricia to try and run the offense with Joe Judge, and that was a mistake, obviously.
Yeah.
If you looked at the Patriots offense over the last couple of years, name me the one guy that the defensive coordinators would say, that's the guy we fear, that's the guy we've got to stop. There just wasn't that guy.
Yeah.
There wasn't that guy. I think that's as much of it as anything.
The thing with Mac too, like we were there.
Dude, you are just enormous. I just want you to know that. Yeah, you're 100% beef. Yeah.
Pittsburgh kid.
There you go. There you go. Yinzer, there you go.
Water down. Yeah.
There you
Marino
go.
was here yesterday, and he's like, you look good, man. I'm like, yeah, you look good too. He's like, I'm getting old. I'm still drinking Uncle Chucky's wine.
It beats the alternative, as I always say.
Yeah,
Getting old.
Dan's got a lot of money, and his uncle made wine in his bathtub. And bottled it. And Marino's gets this when I was playing with Dolphins, he gets this massive wine cellar, and he has this hand-corked wine. It was his uncle's.
That's hilarious.
The most valuable thing. But we were at Mayo's press conference when it was announced that he was the new head coach. And Mac, on TV, rounded the corner, and we were all aghast for some weird reason, forgetting that he is still on his football team.
Yeah.
Like, people thought at the end of the year, boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
No, he's gone. He's still there.
Yeah.
Do you see him get traded?
Look, they have to explore every option, right? I mean, Bill found out the hardest way possible. Hey, it's really better when you have a quarterback. It's really good when you have a guy who can be like Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. And in the years since, the one playoff game, and then the Cam Newton experiment didn't work in the last couple of years, going back and forth between Bailey and Mac didn't work. They've got to find they've got to go every possible route. And if it ends up being Mac, they've got to give him more talent. They've got to give him guys that can be game breakers for him. They don't have any of that right now.
If they keep Mac, of course.
That's a big if.
Which is
That's
a
big
huge if.
Yeah.
Now, the guy sitting next to you, Trey, to your right, says, look, we don't understand the damage that Bill Belichick's performance did to his profile, and maybe that's part of the reason that he's sitting here, also 71 years old, sitting here without a job. Is that what it is? Do you think that's what teams look at and say, oh, man, I don't know. You really screwed that thing up?
Well, I do think you have to look at Bill in two different ways, whether it's in Cleveland or whether it's in New England, with Brady, without Brady. And the numbers are what the numbers are, right? And I'm not taking anything away from Bill. I still think he's arguably the greatest coach football's ever seen. But if you don't got a guy, you really don't got a chance. I was surprised that he didn't get a job. I thought if I were Bill, I would have done everything to try and get the Chargers job because you have a dude. You have Justin Herbert, and I know there's some salary cap issues, and I know there's some contract issues that they have to work through, but you have a defense that has playmakers, and you have a franchise quarterback. Obviously, they wanted to go a different direction. The Atlanta thing with Bill, I thought was very strange because Desmond Ridder has been a turnover machine in the red zone, and we saw how that worked out the last couple of years. Obviously, they're thinking they can draft somebody and get a quarterback, but everyone talks about let's go draft a guy. It's not that easy.
Nope.
You go look at the 2020 quarterback draft. All right, Joe Burrow, absolute home run. Tua looks like he's going to be great. Justin Herbert's going to be great. Jalen Hurts, despite a down year this year, I think is still going to be fine. So that worked out, right? Then you go to 2021. Trevor Lawrence. We're still waiting. He had one playoff appearance, and it took a Chargers being the Chargers, for them to get that win, and then they fell apart down the stretch this year. Zach Wilson should never start again, barring injury. Trey Lance was on the bench, inactive basically during the Cowboys' blowout loss to the Green Bay Packers. Justin Fields, the Bears are still wondering about, and Mac Jones. And that was supposed to be another great quarterback draft. So everyone talks about, let's go get Drake May. Let's go get Caleb Williams. Let's go get all these guys. Well, what's the guarantee that it's going to work? It's about 50%.
Do you like one of those guys?
I think Caleb has the most tools, but, I take the Zen philosopher approach. We'll see. You can say you like this and you say you like that, but at the end of the day, I always say this. When Joe Judge was hired by the Giants, what did they say? Oh, we love the culture he's building. We love all this.
Lunch pill.
Yeah, exactly. Well, why'd you fire him? Well, he didn't win. That culture only lasts as long as winning, right? You can say all these things, but if the W's don't stack up, the culture doesn't mean dip. And that's the truth. That's the way it is.
And you need good players to establish a good culture.
Correct.
You can't have a bad roster and have great culture.
Well, you can, but you won't be in the postseason.
Right. But losing hurts culture.
Correct.
Right? You lose a lot of games, even if you got good guys in the room.
Winning is the ultimate deodorant, right? You can put up with anything as long as you're winning. But once you start losing, man, that guy drives me freaking nuts. The Carson Wentz syndrome, for lack of a better term.
Right.
What culture do you like in the Super Bowl, and what team do you like in the Super Bowl?
You go through the numbers, and they're staggering, right? This is Patrick's 6th season as a starter, and you compare him to Tom's first 6 seasons. In every statistical category, he's well ahead of Tom in terms of regular season wins with the team, playoff wins with the teams, touchdown to interception ratio, passer rating, yards. The only one that Tom has an advantage, he has 3 after his 6th season, and Patrick has a chance to tie him at 3. Patrick in the playoffs, with the Chiefs are down 7 or more in a postseason game, the record with Patrick as a starter is 8-2, winning percentage of 800%. The next best winning percentage is Tom Brady at 10-11, under 500. This guy is a killer, and he's
only lost to Brady and Burrow.
That's it.
He's lost twice to 2 different quarterbacks.
Now,
that's it.
This is going to pain some people in the Boston area, but the comparison for me right now is Derek Jeter. Jeter played 158 postseason games, which is an insane number. So he played in essentially a regular season in the postseason, and he hit 308, 20 home runs, 61 RBI, scored 111 runs. Well, Patrick has now played a full regular season in the postseason going into this game. The Chiefs are 14-3. He's responsible for 45 total touchdowns, 8 giveaways, a completion percentage of 67, which is higher than his regular season average, and a passer rating of 106. His passer rating in the regular season for his career is 92.
I remember all this.
He's kicking up because there's nothing else in here. Scott, there's nothing else in here. It's just stupid, useless trivia.
It's great numbers.
That's it.
You got it down pat.
That's it. I mean, this guy, he's different, and he brings in by far the best defense he's ever had.
You got a game you got to win tomorrow. Which guy are you taking, Brady or Mahomes?
Wait,
just tomorrow. Not build your team.
Yeah.
You got to win one game tomorrow.
I think you still have to take Brady.
Thank you.
I think you still have to take Brady, but
if I'm building a team, I take Mahomes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever getting 7. If that's your qualifier for the GOAT, Tom's going to be the GOAT forever. No one's getting 7.
Trey Wingo here to talk about stunt.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
Twitter without the crap. That's the best way to describe it.
How did we do that?
That's a best-selling word.
That's what it is.
Wait, what?
Who came up with this?
I don't care about your opinions on all that. If you just want to talk sports and just want to have a sports conversation and build your own platform, download the Stunt app at the App Store, Google Play. It's your chance to sort of build your brand and sort of put yourself out there. Sports talk with anybody that wants to talk sports. We do trivias on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. Mark Schlereth and I have a show we do on every Monday night at 6 o'clock Eastern.
He don't shut up either.
No,
man.
he doesn't. He never does. And
Not
that's
that you
why I
don't
love
shut
him.
up,
No, I'm probably worse than he is.
Love Schlereth.
Wow. But it's just a chance to talk sports and nothing else. Filter out all the garbage that's on all your social media feeds, whatever it is. Just stick to sports and you'll be fine.
And you can go to thestunt.com.
Also true.
Yes.
How many surgeries did he have?
29.
29.
He had 17 on one knee.
That's what
He goes to a movie theater. He has to sit like this. And
That's
it's really
awful.
important to say like this on a radio show. But like I'm stretching my knee out like that.
fall
Basically,
back.
You
Nice
can't-
socks.
I was gonna say,
back.
My Herm Edwards socks.
you don't want to do something that leads to a surgery for yourself here, right here.
I'll let Mark have all the surgeries.
Yeah. Trey, great having you here.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Always a
your
pleasure.
time. Those stats are wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Our thanks to you, and we'll be talking to Ted Karras, former Patriot, currently with those Bengals that we just mentioned. We'll do.
The best coverage from Radio Row Week, you can bet on it. It's Zolak and Bertrand, live from the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas, presented by Safety Insurance on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Welcome back to Zolak and Bertrand, live from Radio Row. Our coverage presented by Safety Insurance. We are joined by a former Patriot, a two-time champion in New England, and current Cincinnati Bengal, Ted Karras, is with us.
Good to see you guys.
Great to see you.
Always good to see you.
It's great to see you.
How you been?
Been great.
Yeah?
You know, decent year for the Bengals, but didn't make the show, and get to see the Chiefs represent AFC again. So kind of rooting for the 49ers this week.
That's good. Yeah, you never root for the AFC teams.
Yeah.
When you get knocked out.
Yeah.
Not that you were knocked out, but you guys had some good quarterback play with Browning. When you lose a guy like Burrow that early in the season, and you see the way the backup comes in now, I think your expectations sort of fly out the window. But you guys caught fire there for a while. What made him so good?
Had a
during that
shot.
stretch?
Jake Browning, he earned the trust of his teammates, well before that, even in the year previous. And he lived with me in camp for the last 2 seasons. Lived in my house with me too.
What'd you do to him? Did you keep him in the basement?
No, I kept him. Put him in the little auxiliary house out back.
Nice.
Yeah.
You make him earn his keep, sweep the floors,
Oh yeah, no,
clean the bathrooms.
He's been a great teammate, and I think
What did he do? What were the chores? What did he have to do?
take out the
he
trash.
took out the trash. mostly. Yeah, he took out the trash.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Got to do
Yeah.
that.
But really came in and showed who he is. I think that was so important for him to show that, so he can hopefully have a 10-15 year career now as a QB1 or QB2, but showed he can win football games. So very proud of him.
You played with Tom. You played with Joe Burrow. And we make the comparisons with Mahomes, and we know the track that Mahomes is on and all that, but Burrow gets left out of the conversation because of the injury, and he didn't play this year. But what makes him special the way Tom was special? Did you see any similarities?
Well, I think, one of the first things I noticed when I got in the NFL is just how pure the ball comes out of the professional quarterback's hands. Tom was one of the, obviously the best I've ever seen. Joe's right there with him. But, from a mental aspect, they're both killers. Going out there every day, preparing to win and really, destroy people. But it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I've been very, very lucky and blessed with QB play in my career. And it's interesting to get a perspective now of a superstar QB who's more of like a peer, 25, 26-year-old, where Tom was 40. So it's been a lot of fun to navigate that with Joe.
It's interesting to hear you say that about Burrow. He just wants to destroy people, because every time I look at him, I'm amazed how composed he is. He seems cool. He never seems flustered. And we've seen Tom, get in people's faces or yell. Do you ever see that side of Burrow where he's, flipping out on people? Or is that
Joe's yelled at me before. Yeah, Joe will get heated and yell when he needs to. I think, Tom, took that to the next level. That was a big part of Tom's game, his outward passion, where Joe is a little bit more composed. But, I see a lot of similarities in them. There are different guys, though, in different eras. And, I'm just very, very fortunate that I get to play with some of the best QBs around.
How'd you get in there also? I'm amazed by this. How'd you go there and become a captain immediately? I mean, that means something to me. New franchise, and you've been a captain the last 2 years.
It means something to me, too. And I obviously, in the respect of my teammates, very grateful to them that they, bestowed that title upon me. Take it very seriously. But just being myself, bring a lot of energy and passion, enthusiasm every single day. I think that's, a big factor in success in football and any industry in general. But, take it very seriously. Need to be here in New Orleans next year as a captain. Yeah.
You were captain in Miami, too,
I was
right?
captain in Miami, yeah.
Man, you got it going on.
So, very grateful for my teammates for voting for me. So, hopefully do it again next year.
You were a part of the Patriots in 2021, Mac Jones' rookie year, which was a good year. And you made it to the playoffs. When you look now at that team, and I'm sure you have friends there, and you've been just keeping an eye on it from a distance, where do you think it all went wrong?
I don't think I'm going to point to one thing where it went wrong. That 2021 year was very fun. We had a lot of great guys that have, been a part of the great Patriots teams. I think one thing that you're always going to miss is Dante Scarnecchia from an O-line perspective, from a run game, from an offensive scheme, and from just a culture standpoint. Scar's the all-time best. I hope that he gets in the NFL Hall of Fame someday for all his accomplishments. I would not be in the league without him. So I think a lot of guys that were trained under him, that makes a big difference, and that's the reason I've been able to go into year 9 now in the NFL.
So you've been in other places. You had other line coaches, and we hear this over and over and over again about Dante and how good he is and how he's, you just said, I wouldn't be in the league without him. Are there other good line coaches in this league? I mean, where are those guys? Who are the other great offensive line coaches?
Give me the next Dante, right?
Right. Where is that next Dante in this league?
I don't think there's going to be a next Dante. I've had very good O-line coaches and other stops in my career. Frank Pollock in Cincinnati is great too, but just coming out of college, late round draft pick, he really shot me straight with who I am and what I am in this league and what it takes to be successful and how I can make it. And he's very meticulous on everything. Everything was hand drawn. Really spelled out, very, very language-oriented. You had to speak his language when talking back to him. So, I don't think you're ever going to find another guy like Dante Scarnecchia. I think that era of men probably has come and gone. But very thankful to him for all he did for me.
I know you're very tight with David Andrews. You guys are good friends. King Philip fans, by the way. They have season tickets. We've seen Ted at some of the games. T.J. Parker's Pub, he got his wing special this Sunday. You got to get back to Rentham and get the wings. But talking about David Andrews, there's the potential that he may not want to come back next year. I haven't talked to Dave, but it seemed like that was a narrative at the end of the year. We're not sure if David wants to keep this going. How hard do you think this past year was on him, knowing him, and he never missed a game, never missed a snap, and some of the stuff that he's fought back to get to the point where he is. He's a great guy, great captain.
Great captain, great friend and man. Learned the center position from being his backup for 3 years. I think obviously this year was tough for everyone in Foxborough, with the success that they've had for such a long time to not find that. Probably wore on some guys, but I think, at the end of a tough season like that, maybe things get emotional. I fully expect Dave to be back.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, just the kind of guy
he
is.
Dude. They need him.
But so hasn't talked to him.
Yeah.
Right.
The guy he is.
I've not spoken
Okay.
to him since because he said,
right.
He told us too. I said, I'm going away. I'm going to my farm. Does he have a farm?
He's going to Georgia.
I'm not yet. I think he has some property down
Said
there.
he's going hunting.
Yeah.
He did go hunting.
He killed something. He had it on the front loader, right?
Yeah, it was a deer. Yeah.
But I think you can get emotional right at the end of the season, and that's something Bill always said too: is don't make any decisions till about early March if you want to come back, or don't make any rash decisions at the end of the season. So I think with who Dave is as a player and as a man and as a Patriot, I think he's a first ballot red jacket guy.
Oh yeah.
So he's coming back. I hope.
You just finished your 8th year, is it?
Yeah, 8th year. Going into 9,
okay,
yeah.
so you're going into your 9th year. How much harder does it get after you've been in the league 6, 7, 8? Now you're going into your 9th year because the work that goes into being ready for a season, you don't just go home and sit on the couch in the off season.
You don't. And I was the oldest guy in the Bengals this year at 30, so we had a pretty young team.
Is that right? On the entire team?
We did sign A.J. McCarron, so he kind of usurped the title from me.
It'll count.
30 years old is the oldest
30
guy
years
on the
old
team.
is the oldest
That's
on the team
amazing.
this year. I feel very blessed that I came out with no injuries. That's a big factor going into the off season. But I love it and can't wait to get going again. I feel like we had some unfinished business from this year, kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. So ready to get back on the field. Obviously going to take my time and enjoy Super Bowl Vegas, take a refresh, get ready to go.
I got one more question before we get to the NFL Man of the Year stuff. Your head coach is from the Shanahan-McVay type tree, which is the new sexy thing in the league. What's different about your offense compared to the Ron Earhart offense that you played in when you were in New England with the 60, 70, 80 protection? What's your protection schemes like? Is it more simple or is it more complicated?
I think it's more fluid. I think that in New England, we ran more sets out of 12, 13, or heavier sets. So there were some protection nuances that were kind of rigid, where Zach and Brian Callahan, who's now the head coach in Tennessee, we just had a very fluid six-man protection that we can scheme up different players. We can take away best players or a certain scheme that defenses do. So I've really appreciated that going to Cincinnati and being able to kind of call the shots at center in a very fluid protection scheme.
Easy scheme to pick up, do you think, for especially like a young quarterback or an inexperienced offensive line?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially at center, we're either going right or left, and but
so it's one call and go with it.
It's not, but there are nuances. But I think that in the Josh McDaniels system, there were a lot more rules. Where this is kind of one or two rules per week, where in New England it was an overarching set of rules that we all had to know.
See, I'm asking because I'm scouting because there was a guy in Cincinnati, pitcher. Was it Dan Pitcher?
Dan Pitcher,
who was one of the candidates. Yeah. Well, he was one of the candidates in New England, but then he goes back to Cincinnati. What can you tell us about him? And did we miss out on him in New England?
I think you definitely missed out. I'm glad we didn't lose Dan. He's a great guy. He worked extensively with Joe. They have an amazing relationship. Cortland State guy, who they just won the national championship D3, but a guy that's coming in with a lot of energy, a lot of passion, great knowledge of the game, and him and Zach have a great relationship. I'm really looking forward to the next step of our offense as we kind of mold into our new personnel, coaching, and player-wise.
You've got a big weekend as a nominee for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, one of 32 nominees across the league, presented by Nationwide. It's in its 10th year. Nationwide is the presenting sponsor, and Nationwide has donated more than $2.3 million in the community and in philanthropic causes represented by the nominees. So that means you got some money for your charity, right?
Yes, Nationwide. I'm so grateful for them. They actually do a charity challenge online, too, Twitter, that we won, which is an extra $35,000 to the charity, which is Village of Merici in Indianapolis, Indiana. They provide independent living and lifestyle for adults with Down syndrome and autism. It's one of the few of its kind. It's an apartment building on the east side of Indianapolis, about 75 villagers. They're all going to be watching tonight, so very thankful to Nationwide, the NFL, and the Payton family. So that's a lot of money, $2.3 million over the last couple of years. So all these guys' charities, they've helped out everyone. We have 32 nominees coming in, and we're going to find out who wins tonight.
Yeah, so the winner tonight gets a $250,000 donation.
Pretty crazy.
It's great. It's awesome. Ted, congratulations on that. That's wonderful, and we miss you in New England, man.
I miss you guys, too. And you guys are coming to Cincy this year.
Oh, we are. That's right.
Yeah.
The Skyline chili. Do you like it?
Oh, I love Skyline.
So it's spaghetti with chili on it and onions and cheese.
I'm a Coney dog guy, just the chili dog.
Yeah, so it tastes delicious.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome.
All right, Ted.
I look forward to that.
Ted Karras with us. Our thanks to him for joining us on Radio Row this hour
got that
of coverage.
Circle, don't you?
Yeah. This hour of coverage is brought to you by your New England Honda dealers. Don't go anywhere.
Live from the Mandalay Bay Hotel in Las Vegas, it's Zolak and Bertrand, presented by Safety Insurance on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Is this Usher?
Yes.
Don't play this Sunday.
Why? Oh, in the halftime? No.
You got 12 minutes, man.
Sorry, when you said don't play this, I thought you were saying
No. You play now. I'm like, Mike's
like
right. You got a lot of weight. He's got a lot of
four somewhere in there.
A lot of smooth.
Speaking of smooth, I'm not pointing. I'm pointing at you. I'm not pointing out there.
Oh.
You know what I listened to the other day, based on your recommendation?
Chris Stapleton.
Dude, I love it. I love it, dude. Look, it takes a lot to get me to work out, okay? Takes a lot. That's my that's my bad.
He's got the Ted Johnson thing going.
Michael Holly.
Okay.
I know you.
No. It takes a lot to keep me engaged during a workout. I said, let me see if it just gets me through a workout. First track, I got the newest one, Higher. Came out in 2023.
Yep.
All right. I got that one, put it on immediately. I'm hooked. Got me all the way through. It's 14 songs, 55 minutes. I got a 55-minute workout in. But Chris Stapleton is great. Love the voice, love the phrasing, everything. I'm into it. I'm on the road to being a country fan.
You want to go Kenny Chesney?
I'm not even joking. I'm serious.
I was taking Kenny Chesney next August.
See, that's a different kind of country.
And see, I can see why. So if I like it, I'm imagining some country purists are hating on it a little bit.
What kind of workout were you doing?
I mean, no, I think the purist
Pretty
is
low
in
tempo.
on Stapleton, and like that's in on Stapleton, and the other people that
Great voice.
are into drinking songs go to Kenny Chesney.
Soulful. It's a good
Kenny
voice.
Chesney is not soulful.
Yeah.
This
Well,
guy,
Chris Stapleton
this guy's got something different.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm a fan now.
All right,
Thanks for the recommendation.
you're welcome.
Good one.
I if I were going to send you in that direction, that's where I sent you. So I feel like I did the right thing.
As a matter of fact, Zoe, I listened to that as I ate dinner alone.
That's sad, Mike. He's got some sad songs. But YouTube, his national anthem at the Super Bowl a year ago. Unbelievable. He was great. Not as good as Fergie did it that one year, but
All right.
she was terrible.
I'll check it out.
Let's go to your calls. Josh in New Hampshire. Hey, Josh.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm calling. You were talking earlier about youngest GM, and
Yeah.
I didn't hear you guys bring up Andrew Barry, who was hired in 2020 at the age of 32. So he's
Harvard
36 now. But you never mentioned him. You said that they were looking for older people, but obviously one team reached out.
Yeah, he's an outlier, Josh, right? I mean,
it's not that they're looking for older people, but generally they tend to.
I don't think that disproves my point at all.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Because
It
it's
doesn't.
remarkable that someone would get a job at
Right.
that age.
You're right. Most of those guys are not. Most guys are not in their 30s. Some are, but most aren't.
There are many Theo Epsteins, so to speak, from
That's
a
right.
football standpoint. Beatles right though. Like,
Yeah, you have young coaches.
You've got to earn that title. Head coaches, not so much.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. Like, to build a team, you've got to have the experience. Head coach, they'll take a shot on you if you're not young and upcomer and you're cheap.
Coaches
Or
make more
you're
money than
safe.
executives, right?
Yes.
And
Of
so
course.
you say, well, they're willing to go young with coaches, and they're skewing younger across the league in coaches. And look at this cycle and who's getting hired and who isn't. And I just immediately go to yes, because NFL owners are cheap. They don't like to spend money. They like to keep their money. That's what they do. There's no salary cap on coaches, but every team doesn't seem willing to just go there and get the best.
Do you think that's something that's happening right now with the Patriots?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I think it's a factor.
And why? I'm just trying to figure out why, beyond the, you're right, hey, I got a lot of money and I'm trying to hold on to it. I'm not going to give it to you. But if you wanted a reset and you've paid Bill Belichick the top coaching salary for many years, and you don't have to do that going forward. Now, maybe you do in 2024.
You do in 24, and that should be factored in.
But in 25, 26, 27, if you're talking about that 3-4 year build out, you don't have to do that. Why wouldn't you just go out? Because your fan base is, I think, desperate for something to get behind. Not necessarily a Super Bowl, but something exciting. And the Patriots have been a boring team the last couple of years. They don't have any.
It's boring hires.
There's
right?
not a lot of vision. There's not a lot.
That's what scares me.
It's not a lot of excitement. Wouldn't you be willing to pay for that?
That's why you got to take Marvin Harrison at 3. That's why you can't take a tackle at 3.
Well, you can't take a tackle.
He may want to take a tackle. You cannot take a tackle at 3. There's too many tackles in this draft.
And if Washington takes, Marvin Harrison at 2, then you take Drake May.
Why? I mean, you ask why? Because it's not just about I like money and I want to keep more of it than giving it away and spending it. I'd rather just have it. I mean, I know this has become a punchline. They did just drop $250 million on a lighthouse. And I know, again, people say that's absurd. Why would one have something to do with the other? Because they still had to foot a bill for $250 million. They either paid it out of the money they have or they went to the bank and got a loan, and they're paying the debt on that thing now. Like, That's all part of the business. They spent money on their stadium, a lot of it, more than you usually spend on the, small little updates every year to keep the place fresh. They just spent $250 million on a lighthouse.
You want World Cup stuff and that.
So when you ask,
a lot of this stuff.
Why are they not dropping $25 million on all the new stuff? Because that's what they were maybe paying Bill, right? Allegedly, reportedly, rumored, whatever. Well, we're paying off this thing we just bought over here. It's like anyone else managing their bills, Why are you not going and buying a new car? Well, I went on this big vacation this year, and I'm still sort of,
trying to dig it out. Dig
pay
it out
that
from
off
that hole
a little bit. And
yeah.
the new car that I need, well, that's going to have to be next year.
But what's
all these things are connected.
I understand that, and I agree, Beetle. But what's the return on investment on that on the lighthouse?
The World Cup.
You got to get the World Cup. You think that was needed it. You needed that for the World Cup.
They needed it for the World Cup. They needed the space that is indoors there for the World Cup. They needed the square footage.
That's not the main reason they built it, but that's the vision. To secure World Cup.
Problem with that, the
secure
World Cup is
future
still
events.
A little ways off.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that grass field's coming in. Can't wait for that.
Still, and I know it's easy to spend somebody else's money, but you are you're in the top 5 now, franchise value. That
doesn't mean you got it in cash, though.
Yeah, okay, you don't have it in cash, but you have raked in so much. Your franchise value is through the roof. You've had so much success, and if it's a lighthouse, if it's a scoreboard that's keeping them from hiring Dan Pitcher as opposed to Alex Van Pelt, that's a shame.
No, it's not keeping them from doing anything.
Okay,
I'm not offering it as an excuse.
Yeah.
I'm offering it just as maybe an explanation. Well, why are we not spending a lot of money? Well, we got other stuff we just spent money on. So I don't want to spend any more. It's about desire, not about they can't. Of course they could. It's just about their own desires.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to, but this is what you need to do. And I think the World Cup coming here is great. I'm excited. I'm going to be there for as many games as I can. I'm going to try to get to New York for the final. I mean, this is a big deal.
You a soccer guy?
Well, big events.
You're a big event guy.
Oh, yeah, the World Cup.
I like big events.
Hey, listen, the World Cup in North America, I'm down. I'm excited. But as a Patriots fan, you don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that as a Patriots fan. Hey, we got the World Cup. Good for the community, good for my neighbors. But, hey, season ticket holder. And I've watched your team go from 10 wins to 8 to 4.
Yeah.
The last 3 years. Give me something, baby. Give me something.
I can't trust any of Michael's soccer takes.
Why? What was my big soccer take?
Once told me that Freddie Adu was going to change the country. Was going to change it all.
Take a shot.
Look at how about that?
I'm pretty
and
sure.
You're still, and you pronounce his name correctly, and you're still talking about him in 2024. He did something right.
Did you not have the jersey? I'm pretty sure you had. Pretty sure you had.
What's wrong with you?
You had the jersey.
What is wrong with you?
Because it was such an.
Why do you remember that?
Because it was such an emphatic take of yours. And you told me personally, and it hurts me personally that you guaranteed that to me.
And I took that personally.
And I took that personally.
I took that personally.
And Freddie Adu was going to change.
Remember that. Wow.
Was going to change professional sports in America when he signed with DC United at 14 years old.
That's why you don't sign Freddie Adu. That's why you don't sign a young general manager. See what happens? That's why. They're too young.
This is it. This is going to be the man that makes soccer one of the most important sports in this country. Yeah. It's about to happen. It's finally about to happen, he said. You've been hearing about soccer. It's building, and so many Americans are now into it more than ever, which is true. More Americans are into soccer now than ever before. But it wasn't because of Freddie Adu.
But yet you don't bring up my Mbappe take.
What was that take?
This guy's going to be great. This guy's going to be awesome. We watch.
Top of the hour here in Las Vegas, and our coverage of Radio Row is presented by Safety Insurance all week long. We're going to be talking to Chris Fowler from ESPN at 12:30, and we've got some other great guests lined up today as well. Jonathan Jones will be with us, as will Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp is definitely on our list of people we are excited to talk to
Yes, I
at Super
am.
Bowl because I have no idea where that could go. We're going to check the headlines and we'll come right back in 90 seconds.